And welcome to the Michael Zehr Show. Today is Friday, July 14th, and we're coming to you live here from the Rising Eagle Studios at the Warrior Healing Center in Sierra Vista, Arizona, in the great county of Cochise and in the great state of Arizona. Hope that we'll get some live people joining us today. And if you happen to catch this on the live stream later, please, any comments that you make on this feed, we do monitor them, so we will respond to your comments or questions. So please, by all means, feel free to make any kind of comments or ask any questions as it's uploaded onto YouTube, Facebook, and quite a few other sites as well. So today, my special guest veterans, plural, have a organization here that is Heroes Helping Heroes Outdoors. Did I get that right?
Heroes Healing.
Heroes Healing Heroes Outdoors. I was close. Sorry about that.
Close.
I should have asked you that one before we started as well,
Could have
right?
been worse. Could have been worse.
And today, Gary Linendahl is with us, along with Wayne Dubois. And gentlemen, I would like to have you tell us how was your organization founded?
You know, I'm going to pass this. I'm the current president, but Wayne really was the power behind getting this whole thing off the ground in the beginning. So let me defer and let him tell you how it all came together.
All righty.
Well, Gary and I, we've been helping veterans hunting on Fort Huachuca for many years. We both hunted all the time, but our hunts were very short, and in the meantime we always helped other people, anybody who asked us. So we had some veterans we ran into some veterans that they wanted us to help, but we just weren't set up for it individually, personally. So I reached out to a couple organizations to come down to Cochise County to help some of these more disabled veterans, and nobody would come down and help us.
Not a single person.
I don't know if you want me to throw anybody underneath the bus.
No, we don't need to do that.
But a couple of these organizations that are nationally out there that help, they wouldn't come down to Cochise County. They said they don't help out this way. So anyway, that led me to getting with Gary, and I reached out to Gary and Bob Ford, and I'm like, we're out here all the time anyway. Why don't we start our own Cochise located version of like the Wounded Warriors or something like that, and do it ourselves. And they're like, that's a great idea. So I spearheaded it and got with the Arizona Corporation Commission and got us set up as a corporation, and reached and then did the paperwork for the IRS to get us 501c3.
Was that a lot of work involved in that?
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount of work. But it took, how long did it take us to kind of get up and running?
It took half a year, I guess.
Yeah, probably 6 months or so.
Something like that.
Good,
Maybe a little more.
Yeah, writing the articles of corporation, and then the bylaws, and by the time we got all that done up, we immediately that was in 2016.
So that is a requirement then, doing the bylaws and all of that?
Oh yeah,
It's part of the
part of the
Corporation Commission.
Okay.
yeah. You have to have bylaws. You got to establish a board of directors. All those things that you hear about in a normal corporation, you need to establish those.
So that's good to hear, because then that doesn't mean like some fly-by-night could actually just go in there and just half-ass it, you know what I'm saying, as far as all the paperwork and trying to get it and apply for it and everything.
Especially when you go to the IRS.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it right. And I did, I tried to make sure that I follow step by step, applying through the Arizona Corporation Commission, in the local newspaper here, Sierra Vista Herald, published our articles of incorporation for 3 days. Did it all so that when we applied for our IRS 501c3 declaration, there was no hangups, and they, within, I think we started it in the fall, in the summer of 16, and I think it was January, February of 17 is when we got our IRS declaration.
What was that like when you got that? That had to be like a celebratory type of moment at that, to know that you put in all that hard work and going through that process to put together an organization that you're passionate about, to see it being birthed like that.
That was when we really felt like we turned on the light.
Yeah,
we were go time.
It was time to get out. But even while we were waiting, we ended up having some clients that first year that just popped up. I mean, that disabled vets that were really disabled. I mean,
right.
Wheelchair bound and like that, and or scooters, and out there at the alfalfa fields, where you took a bunch of folks out. So business started right away. It really did. But hats off to Wayne. He put a major monumental effort into getting this thing off the ground, and did so for the next 5 years.
Yeah, 2020 until 2020.
When you did your very first one, what was that about? What was that like? Where was it at? Do you remember?
We remember
who
like
was there?
It was yesterday.
Do you? Cool. Tell us about it.
So we had started a program called the Landowner Hero Support Program, and basically what it was a landowner would agree to give us access to his land for the purpose of taking a veteran out there.
Okay.
And we would take and put a 18 by 24 inch metal sign up on the gate to their property for the purpose of, one, letting veterans know that we're there, that we have access to this land and they can call us. But that's also to kind of let the landowner have a little bit of give him a little bit of recognition that he's helping
right.
veterans. And we did this out to a field out in alfalfa field in Elfrida, and one evening we got a phone call from a 100% disabled Marine. He goes, I've been out here hunting, trying to put food on the table for my family. It's his wife, and how many kids did he have?
2 or 3 at the time, I think.
Yeah.
But he was totally disabled.
Yeah, and he was distraught. He was to the point where he was saying, he goes, I don't know what else to do. He goes, because I can't work, and he just told us his story, and we told him where you hunting at, and he tells us where he's hunting at. I said, good, meet us here at 4:00, and it was me and another guy that I hunted with, and we drove out there, met him at 4:00, talked to him, heard what his story was.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Now, was it the last day of the hunt, or I know he'd been out there almost all week?
He had been out there almost all week. It was like it wasn't the last day, but he had a couple more days left, and it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. We drove out there, talked to him, went in the gate by about 4:30, and we were just going to our location where we were going to see if we can get him onto a mule deer. And I looked off to the right, and a big, huge mule deer was standing up on a berm. And I'm like, brother, I stopped. I said, brother, there's your chance. So we set up the gun on the tripod and everything else, and he leaned out, shot, boom, dropped. And it took us longer to drive from here to Elfrida than it did for us to get his deer on the ground, processed, back to his car and loaded up. And he was crying, and
wow,
He literally told us afterwards that he was at a point in his life that he was starting to, he was beginning to feel that he could better serve his family dead.
Wow.
And he told us that us getting out there and helping, he goes, I feel like I'm a man now. I feel like. So in the end, what it allowed, it inspired him. He got out. He kind of got his zing back. Reached out to the VA, got into a VA program that helps their education program. Went to taxidermy school, opened up his own taxidermy studio up in Vail.
Wow.
And he's a success. He's taking care of his family, providing for his family. So that was exactly what our mission statement is all about.
And it was timely on so many different levels, but for us as an organization, I remember thinking, wow, this is really what we want to be doing. I mean, it was a great start. Great start.
Well, the thing that resonated with me when you said is that he thought he'd be better off dead, and that leads into that 22 or more veterans a day commit suicide, which is a big thing here at the Warrior Healing Center that they try to prevent. And that's such a moving story to hear that this veteran was borderline, maybe. That's the thinking. That's how it starts. And that you're able to change that person's mindset, get them that help that they need, then they want to seek it themselves. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome, inspiring story. I love it. So it just kind of mushroomed from there then, right? Because when you did this first hunt, and you said it was at 4 o'clock on this land, so does that mean like if there wasn't, what do you call it, a kill that day? So if you didn't have a kill that day, then the landowner allowed you for like what, up to a week or something, or how
Unlimited.
Unlimited
for the whole season.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
With that hunter, whatever his season was, but if we had other ones,
right?
Yeah, they opened up.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I thought it was just for this. Okay, so that's wow.
Yeah, right.
That's
Latest
huge.
the latest one we got was the Thomas Ranch, just on the other side of the river, and last fall they gave us permission to go in there, and that's another great story.
That is probably that. So we've had several really good stories. We had a 100% disabled, wheelchaired, on oxygen Vietnam veteran that we were set up. I remember a few years ago when the Vietnam Wall came to Bisbee.
I personally don't. No,
No.
I don't remember it, but I knew it when it came to Sierra Vista.
Yeah. So about, I guess, what's 2018, 19, something like that.
19, probably.
The Vietnam Wall came down to Bisbee, and we set up a stand out there just to kind of get we had some flyers, and this lady come pushing her dad up. His name is, the veteran's name is Charles Guillory, and what was her name? I think of her name in a minute. Anyway, she pushed up and she goes, look, Dad, you know. And so they come over to us, and we started talking to them about what we do. And she goes, Dad, she goes, you might be able to get out and go hunt again. And so she took our number, called us up a couple of months later. We had a tag that was donated to us, and we donated that to Charles, and he was in oxygen. So we went through a whole bunch of different efforts to get him out there. Got him his champ tag. Actually took a 12-foot trailer that we built a blind on.
Okay.
And drug that out there into the fields and set him up so that as the deer came in and out of those alfalfa fields, he could get a shot on one, and we were successful that very first year. When I caught a buck out there in one of the fields, and we're set up, and he was able to take a shot on it and knock him down. And what was cool about that was his daughter, grandchildren were all up there on this alfalfa fields. There's where they process all the hay and stack all the hay, and so they had some elevated like stands or bleachers or chairs or something, and the kids the grandchildren, they all sat up there and watched Grandpa out there in these fields. I mean, they were looking through binoculars and all that, but they were able to watch Grandpa do what he did. And the look on that man's face, because I had it was a champ tag, so I was able to go out and recover the deer. So I went out and recovered the deer and everything else. And by the time I got back to the side by side, it was dark, and his eyes are all wide, and and like, what's going on? And I raised my hand to give him a high five, and he saw the blood on my hand and knew that he had succeeded in what he did, and he was ecstatic after that. And that encouraged. I mean, that actually brought that man back to life. He that he literally called me up a few months later and asked, when was the deadline to put in for elk season? Now he wanted to go elk hunting. it was super successful.
Yeah, it's been some great stories over the years.
We've had some good hunts with some good veterans. We took a World War II vet out.
Well, I was going to ask you, what is a champ tag?
So a champ tag. So there's different things like if you're not able to pull back a crossbow,
okay,
and you want to hunt with a crossbow, you can get a crossbow permit. If you're disabled to the point where you cannot pull back a regular compound bow of a certain weight, and you can't hold it back and things like that, then you can get a crossbow permit. Right, allows you to use a crossbow. Probably, I think in Arizona, that's one of the only ways you can use a crossbow. And then in archery season, you can use it during gun season if you wanted to. But also, a champ tag are for the more disabled vets that cannot get out and they cannot be out by themselves. Those guys that cannot walk long distances.
Really have mobility issues.
Correct.
Okay.
As much as anything else, it's the lack of mobility.
Correct. We had a veteran that sat there and told us that every year he goes deer hunting, and he's able to get out on his deer, and he'll lay down and he'll shoot at the foot of the deer, not to hit the foot, but just to make it jump. And as soon as it makes it jump, he signs his tag. I succeeded, and he goes home. And I'm like, well, why? He goes, I can't get it out of the woods, out of the field. He goes, I'd have to eat him right there on the spot. He goes, my back and my knees, I just cannot get him out before he would ruin.
Right.
And so on a something like that, a champ tag, you could get that gentleman a champ tag, and then if Gary's out there with him on the hunt, he is designated in writing as this guy's helper, and he can dispatch if the guy was to wound the deer. Gary would be allowed by law to dispatch, take the deer and put him out of his misery, and to recover, which means to go out there and get it,
right.
drag it back. So he could do that. He could get that.
I had no idea there were so many different laws and regulations with hunting. I mean, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When I used to hunt when I was younger, you just went out, hunted, did your thing, had fun, you went home. But I never thought about it when I got older and was more disabled, the mobility thing. So that's really interesting that they allow this, so that way it allows the veteran to be able to get out in the outdoors, to be able to participate and accomplish something, maybe their lifelong dream of wanting to get a deer or something, or an elk, or
Arizona
Javelina, whatever. We'll take them on anything.
Yeah, Arizona Game and Fish has a really good DAV program. And
what program?
DAV. Disabled.
Okay.
Disabled.
All right.
They actually have a DAV tag, and they actually set aside specific hunting events that are only for disabled veterans. Which that helps those DAV veterans out. It gives them, for example, Camp Navajo.
Yep.
Camp Navajo is a good example. They set aside disabled vet tags that allow disabled vets to get an opportunity to go out there and hunt an elk, when the rest of the hunting community is only allowed to hunt archery. These disabled vets can go out there with a rifle and hunt. Right, before those elk get really boogered and spooked, and they're just standing out there grazing. It allows our veterans to get out there, and it's designed really for, in my mind, for those veterans, like our World War II vets and some of our really highly disabled vets. Have them a chance to get out there and enjoy getting out and doing outdoors and have a reasonable expectation of success.
What is a time frame on something like that usually? For example, for a day, because there's no telling when you might see game, so you could be sitting there for 3, 4, or 5 hours before you call it, or how does that work?
You never know where they're going to show up.
Yeah, it really depends on if the animals are moving.
Uh-huh.
then you stay. Some animals that we hunt really only move first thing in the morning or in the late afternoon.
So you know their patterns.
Yeah, you try to, and we do that most of the time, especially with elk and animals like that. All of us have hunted Arizona long enough where we all have spots that we're pretty good at, that we know pretty much what the animals are going to do. So that's extremely helpful when we take a vet out and we have to set up to get them in close or get them that shot from a tripod, because there's issues with holding up a rifle or pulling a bow or whatever it may be.
But
there's
there's one thing dealing with the animals that we're trying to hunt, but probably more important is dealing with the veteran that you're out there hunting with, because you get a World War II vet or a Korean War vet. Them gentlemen are getting a little bit up there in age these days.
Right.
And they're not going to stay out there all day long. They can say, okay, well, I normally get up at 7 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, I'm getting tired and I'm ready to go back. Okay, well, there's our window of opportunity. We've got to do our best within that 2 hours of getting out there, getting set up, and we normally, in a perfect world, like we have Cecil Levance. He's a 92-year-old Korean War vet that we took on a javelina hunt in February, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, in February. Mm-hmm. We took him out on a hunt, and we had a whole armada of people out there helping us find javelina. We had six, seven, eight different of our volunteers out there helping to locate javelina and get him on a javelina, and it took us 6 days.
It took a while, but it happened.
Yeah. Are you only allowed to hunt javelina with a bow?
No, he actually used a muzzle loader.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if a non-disabled veteran, right, do they only have to use a bow? I thought that they had like a bow season for.
They do.
There is separate seasons. There's
a
bow season. There's a what they call a ham hunt.
Okay.
Handgun, archery, and muzzleloader. You can use either. And then there's the regular rifle season.
Because I'm thinking in my mind, man, if I shot an arrow at a javelina and I didn't kill him, he'd be really pissed off, and those things are pretty mean.
They're actually, they're not as much of a threat as most people think. Yeah. I definitely wouldn't want to walk up to a mama and her little red ones when they're little teeny tiny. No, yeah.
Or a wounded one is going to snap.
Right.
But that's why you have two arrows.
There is I do bingo at the Columbian Association, and one night when I got off of work and I was going home, it was about maybe 10 o'clock. I was coming down North Avenue to Fry Boulevard, and right before you come up to where that hotel is there, and that used to be O'Malley's Hardware or whatever, there's an alleyway that runs down there, and there was this big javelina and two small javelinas going right, and then they go right down there. Man, I looked at them, I was like, oh, wow. I mean, they're like right here in town. They're not.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, just especially when those little ones, mama will find, because I work up on post, and they travel around our parking lots. We walk in and out. They don't mess with us. We don't mess with them. But we are aware enough to know that if you see a small one, and that small one is close to you, you may want to use the other door. You don't want to upset mom. That's a warning.
No sense asking for trouble.
Yeah, you don't ask for trouble. But I want to make sure, because since we've been talking on this so far during the show, we've talked about hunting.
Right.
We started the foundation as Heroes Hill and Heroes Hunting Foundation.
Okay.
And then we realized within a very short time that there's all kind of vets out there that want help, and they want help doing other things other than just hunting. So we went through with the Arizona Corporation Commission, and we changed our name from a hunting foundation to Outdoors. That allowed us to use our sponsorship money, through donations, through fundraiser, whatever, for a wider array of activities. We have a pretty decent fishing program.
Do you?
Yeah, we do. We've got. We just recently. I know you're aware of Bill Beecher.
I do know Bill. Yeah.
So Bill Bill is the president of the Vietnam Veterans of America.
Yes, VBA. Huh?
And he wanted to go fishing. So we, he filled out the paperwork, and people can go to our website, and there's a little tab. It used to be at the top. We're moving over to a different website, host, and we're rebuilding the website, and the tab is going to be on the bottom, and it says client. And you click on it, fill out the client application. It goes to our hunt coordinator, Chris Sterner, and Chris will sit there and say, "Oh, Bill Beecher wants to go on a fishing trip." Randy Oliver and Chris are two of our avid fishermen in the club, and they go fishing on a regular basis. And Chris will sit there and say, "Hey, Randy, we got Bill Beecher that wants to go on a fishing trip." He goes, "Well, I'm going Saturday." So we call up Bill. "Bill, if you're not busy on Saturday, you're gonna go fishing." Swing by, pick Bill up, out to the lake we go. And as long as he doesn't forget his tag.
Well,
Right.
You heard that story?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I'm guessing he forgot it.
Oh, sorry, Bill. Here it goes.
Yeah, we're gonna run you over.
We had a donated turkey tag for this past spring,
Okay.
and it was for the area out there around Patagonia. And so we all meet down at Denny's and have a quick breakfast at dark 30 and head out. We get out in Sonoyta, and the lead truck that had Bill in it and Chris, they pull off the side. So I'm thinking, well, what's going on? So I pull my vehicle off. We got to go back because Bill had left his vehicle at Denny's. So they had to, anyway, long story short, they had to go all the way back to Sierra Vista to get his tag. In the meantime, however, the three of us in the other truck, in my truck, we went on over to the hunt area, and we no sooner got off a paved road, we didn't go 300 yards, and there's a flock of 14, and they stayed there feeding and moving around the whole time it took the guys to come back to Sierra Vista and get back out there. And long story short, again, Bill had a successful turkey hunt. So yeah, it was fun. It was a fun time. He's a good guy.
Actually, forgetting it kind of makes it more of a funny, memorable story looking back on. Now you can rib him.
Well, in fact, be known, probably most of us that have hunted for a while have done that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people, if they're using a compound and release, which most people do now, leave the release back at camp.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it happens.
Now with fishing, if you're a disabled veteran, don't you get a fishing license in Arizona for free? Or is that 100%? It might be 100%.
I don't know if that's
I'll have to look that up again.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure. I think it is 100% that you get a free fishing license.
Well, I know if you're 100% disabled, they actually have a DAV tag.
Right.
Now, but that has nationwide implications because almost every state has some type of a DAV program. They set aside, different types of hunts or different types of fishing opportunities and whatnot. That if you have a DAV tag, that gives you access to being able to hunt all over the country.
Okay. Now that you brought that up, because that kind of fascinated me. You go visit somebody out of state, and they want to go fishing, and you got an Arizona fishing license or a hunting license, and they want to go in another state. You're kind of out of luck, right? Because it's only good for that one state. So is this DAV program that you're saying nationwide? Does that kind of cover it?
I don't know exactly to what extent it covers it. I just know that the different states have DAV programs.
Okay.
Right now, as far as the licensing, Texas, it takes care of vets really well. As far as if you're over 50%, your license is free.
Wow.
So that's the only one I know because my brother lives in Texas, and when I go down there, I get to go over there. And we as an organization have a sister organization. I'm going to give our sister organization a plug.
Shout out.
Please do.
Valhalla Outdoors up in Comanche, Texas, is a veteran 501c3 ran. He's a fellow All-Army softball player that that I know. That he started this foundation to take disabled vets out on hog hunts. running, either running them with dogs, infrared at night, even during our annual veteran hunt that happens 1st of March. They bring in helicopters. The year before last.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
They had 17 flight hours with 2 veterans per flight. 17 hours of flight time, where we take a veteran up for an hour, and they fly around several thousands of acres of ranch land, and shooting pigs. And it's a great thing because all the ranchers, all the helpers, all the veterans, we hunt for about 4 days shooting pigs, and then we all go home with hundreds of pounds of fresh pork. Now we did that. What we do, Gary and I do, is we bring back a lot of that pork. We process it, freeze it, and then we give it to disabled veterans.
Okay.
We come through the Warrior Healing Center, identify the people that need help. There's a lot of veterans out there on fixed income that they struggle, and when they're having problems, what do? We say, come down here and bring you. We got bags here. Take home as much meat as you want.
Yeah, I would have a hard time doing a hunt and not being able to eat my kill.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be a really big waste. So the fact that you can take it and freeze it and then donate it, that's good to know.
Well, when we go down there, because a lot of the guys that are from Texas and shooting a hog is not as big a deal as it is for us when we leave from Arizona and go down. So we often not only take home what we've shot, but quite often what's several extra pigs from here, this guy, that guy, this guy. So we've come back with 250 pounds,
I think
300
the biggest
pounds
haul
of meat.
we had 6 100-quart coolers, and I brought back 6 of those, not to mention that several of the other guys that went up there had their own sets of coolers. Yeah. So we probably brought back close to 1,000 pounds of pork. That was a long process.
I have to ask, and I'll start with Wayne first because I'm going to ask both of you this question. What was your favorite game that you killed to eat?
I like elk.
Elk? Gary?
Without a doubt, elk.
Elk also?
Yeah.
How do you, when you eat the elk, is there like in a jerky or do you?
It's just like beef.
Just like beef?
It is as close to beef and like that as you can get.
I've actually had elk beef one time. Somebody gave us a package of it. Now that you said it was like hamburger, that kind of reminded me of that.
That the with an elk,
you can't
cut
taste
it up.
the difference.
You cut it up. Well, yeah.
Well, I didn't think so. It wasn't as greasy. I mean, when we had our tacos,
that is true.
we made tacos with it. It wasn't as greasy.
It's a lot more lean.
Yeah, healthier.
A lot more healthier. Higher protein content.
Yep.
So it's just it's even healthier to eat elk than venison.
Okay.
Elk is a cleaner meat. I think a little bit higher in protein, lower in saturated fats.
But yeah, it's excellent.
Which is good for our disabled veterans. A lot of them are on they're diabetic. Restricted diets. Elk is right there, right there for them.
Hopefully, Bill, the snake guy, won't see this next this part of the questioning here. Have you ever had rattlesnake?
I have had rattlesnake.
Did you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, Gary?
Yeah, I've had it.
Not a fan?
It just there's not much taste to it.
Does it really taste like chicken?
No.
Or is that just a wives' tale?
It's just a wives' tale. But it's not a bad taste. There's no game.
There's
taste
not really much to it.
If you're out there and you need to find something to eat and a rattlesnake rose by, hey, he's definitely on the menu. It's not like you're trying to eat a skunk.
Yeah. That would be bad.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
And when you guys go out and you do the hunting and the fishing, is it strictly here in Cochise County that you do that? Or where else have you gone?
The fishing so far mostly has been here, but our hunting, as an example, we have a lot of people out in Fort Huachuca that, veterans and stuff that we help up there. But when we get these donated elk tags, and we have 2 of them so far this year, one is up in 7E,
Yeah.
up just east of Flagstaff and north of Flagstaff, and then another one is over in 6A, which is south of Lake Mary. So we will go up there and take veterans with us or meet them there, however it's going to work out. And so we definitely will travel or up to Camp Navajo. We've gone up there to help vets out. So wherever we need to go, I'd say probably 80-90% of our time is spent down around Cochise County.
Correct.
You know,
Now,
in the southern part here.
So we do fundraisers all year long to raise the funds we need to help offset the cost of taking these veterans
Is
out.
that like your raffles for the weapons? Is that
Correct.
part of your fundraiser?
We've had donations. The Cochise County Sheriff's Department is a major contributor to us. This year we were awarded $10,000
This was their 10th.
Wow.
This was their 10th year, and so they did an extra big. They did 10 charities, $10,000 each. That was their goal, and they did that. And fortunately we happened to be one of them. Way back when we first got started, 2017, 18, something like that. We applied for one, and at that time they were just giving them to single organizations, maybe 2, but that was it. No big group thing like they did this past year. And we got, I think it was 13,000 donated from their charity ride. So they have been a very big contributor to us. Absolutely.
Sheriff Daniels and his deputies are really very supportive of what goes on in our community.
Absolutely.
I was fortunate enough to interview him for a short interview, and he talked about his military and stuff like that, and he really cares about our community. It's one thing when somebody talks the talk, but when you see somebody actually putting it to words or to action,
Yep.
Now we allocate. So back to how we assist, how we kind of help do this. We allocate $500 to a veteran on his activity, whether it's a hunting trip, a fishing trip, or whatever the case may be, in Cochise County.
Okay.
If we go outside of Cochise County and the rest of the state of Arizona, we allocate $1,000. That's what we plan for.
Yeah, planning. I mean, we may or may not spend that much.
Okay.
But we have it available to do.
So when we do like, for example, one of our fundraisers, we don't do a fundraiser. Like when we raffle off one of our firearms, we don't raffle that. When we do the ticket sales and everything else, we're not trying to get tens of thousands of dollars. We want to make enough to take 1 to 2 veterans out on a hunt. Two Cochise County veterans, or 1 outside of Cochise County veteran on an activity. That accomplishes 2 things. 1, it allows us to take a couple of vets, and what we do is we pay for the veterans. If a lot of these veterans are on CPAPs, and they have to have assured electricity, so we might end up having to go get a hotel room for the duration of the hunt. So it allows us to pay for that. Allows us to pay for his food.
Wow.
Yeah. We don't pay for the transportation.
It's funny you say the CPAP, because almost every veteran I know that's my age has one.
Exactly. But
that's part of what we deal with.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, man, I don't know if you guys use one or not. I do, and since I've been using mine religiously for over 10 some years, what a difference!
Big difference.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. I use a CPAP.
Yeah.
So and now
I'm too young to have.
You're too young. Yeah. It'll get there one of these days.
Now, as far as our volunteers, we by law, Arizona Game Official allows us to pay for their food for the day and reimburse them for gas.
Wow.
Now, we do not accept any kind of payment. I mean, that
from the
veteran. We don't get a veteran out there and say, "Oh, by the way, it'll cost you another $30 for us to." No, we don't do it.
Yeah. So it's free to the veteran.
Yeah,
against the law, we will not do it.
And not we don't even accept token thank yous like, here, let me give you.
Well, last year when they took one of the, as we refer to them, the California boys, one of them wanted to buy lunch, and Chris said, no, we'll buy your lunch. So we don't even.
Because it
We
can't
tried to
look
draw
like
that
they're
line.
looking for favoritism
No,
or
yeah,
gratuity or anything
compensation.
like that.
By Arizona Game and Fish law, you can help somebody, but the moment that you receive compensation, whether it's through money or material items, then that's you being technically paid, and that means you have to be a guide.
You got to be a licensed guide.
A licensed guide.
Okay.
And we're not licensed guides, so we never classify what we do as guiding. We assist fellow veterans in their hunt.
Now, a few times you've been talking about donated tags. How does a person go about donating a tag? Like, do you go out and buy one and then donate it to your organization? Or is that a hunter that already has one? Maybe he can't use it, so he's donating it. What is that about?
So how that system works is we'll get a call. We got 2 of them this year, elk tags. Guys had, in one case, the guy had mistakenly put in what he thought was a bull. He had several points anyway, whatever it was. Anyway, he thought he put in for a bull elk tag, and he didn't. He ended up on a cow tag, and so he didn't want to hunt cow elk for whatever reason, and so Game and Fish maintains a roster of nonprofit organizations, of which we are, and so if you're on that list, those people that have a tag, whether it's a deer tag, javelina tag, turkey tag, doesn't matter. If they have some reason they can't use it, maybe there's an emergency in the family.
Okay.
They thought they were going to be able to go, and all of a sudden something happens. Any number of reasons. They can go to that list, pick out a 501c3 nonprofit that they want to donate it to, contact that organization, in this case us, fortunately, and if we've got people that want to go on that hunt and we are set up where we can take someone, we accept that tag.
Okay.
What they do is they will fill, and usually we'll provide the forms to them from Game and Fish. They fill out now it's a requirement, if you have bonus points, that you, in order not to lose those bonus points, you fill out a thing that tells the name of the organization and whatnot that you are going to give your tag to, and then you fill out a corresponding paper that says, yes, this is where it's going to, and we accept it, and all that. And then typically it's me, I'll take those 2 pieces of paper and the tag and go up to Tucson to the Game and Fish and just do a transfer of paperwork to the new whoever it's going to be.
How often do you do
that?
that?
Is your tag.
How often do you do that up to Tucson? Is that like a once a month thing
no.
per trip?
No,
or?
I have learned after having done it for a little while.
Yeah.
We had some tags that were going to be donated to us a couple months ago, but they're not until September hunts. I've learned don't run up there right away, because the guy that's been waiting for that elk tag and finally gets one is all excited, and he says, yeah, I want to, yes, I'll take it. You go up there and you make the transfer. Well, a month later, his wife says, hey, and this absolutely happened. You can't go that week. That's the weekend that the girls and I are going on a girls trip. So he called us and had to turn it back into us again.
Right.
But that, so I wait. The ones we have for September, I will take up either the end of July or the beginning of August, because the same folks all this time have been waiting on them, and so it takes. I go up and do a tag, and that Game and Fish up there is really good at it. 10 minutes, you're in and out.
So a very important thing to state about this tag donation, right? So, for example, let's just say you put in for an elk tag.
Okay.
Okay. Now, whether you know right off the bat that you're going to put it in and you're going to get your tag and you're going to go hunting on it, and then something happens and you decide, well, I can't go, so let me donate it. Or there's people that will put in for a tag with the sole purpose that they're going to donate it to a veteran. Right? It don't matter.
So that can be done then.
It can be absolutely done.
Right.
There's nothing against. There's nothing bad about that against it. You just can't do it for money. You can't
Right.
sell a tag or anything like that. It's got to be donated, and Arizona Game and Fish has very strict rules on who can get a donated tag. So we got to make sure that we stay within, and we talk to, we actually have meetings with our game wardens, our local game wardens here, to make sure that we are 100% within, in compliance
Okay.
with with the people that get those tags. But the point that I want to make about that is, let's just say, for example, Mike, you go and put in and you get a tag, right? For elk, cost what, $135 ish for that tag. For a out-of-state person to get that tag, it's $600 and something
Wow.
to get that.
And with that tag, you're only allowed one animal?
Right.
Correct. One animal within a very, very
Within usually a week or two at the most.
Yeah.
That's your hunting season.
in
Okay.
a designated area that is for. But here's the point, right? A disabled vet let's just say there's a disabled vet sitting in Utah. He wants to hunt the state of Arizona. He wants to come down here and be to hunt. You paid for a resident hunting license for a bull elk, right? He can get that. He can still, as an out-of-stater, he can get that tag, and it doesn't cost him a dime.
Because it's been donated.
Yeah.
Because you already paid for it.
Right.
Arizona Game and Fish,
Yep.
they say in their opinion, you've already paid for that tag. That fee has already been collected. They don't care if that guy's out of state or not, which that opens up great opportunities for those people that are, because Arizona is world renowned for elk. Northern Arizona is got some beautiful elk country.
You can cut this portion out, right, where we talk about how good that elk hunting is in Arizona.
No.
Arizona elk hunting stinks. Don't come here. But for those people out of staters, they, it's known. They want to come to Arizona. They want
Right.
to hunt those elk out there. But not a very, like I said, there's a lot of veterans out there that are on fixed incomes. $600 is a chunk of change. That's a month of utilities and rent and
Yep.
everything else. So they can afford to do that. We don't pay for their transportation to the state of Arizona to hunt. We don't pay for their hunting license, right? That's still a cost that they have to pay for out of their pockets. But that tag is freely donated to them.
Which,
Wow, that's good to know.
To include their transportation. We will pick them up at the airport. We extend our courtesy service to the airport to pick them up, get them, to their hunting location, take care of them while they're on their 3 to 5 day hunt, right? Get them back to the airport and they can go off. That's all on our dime.
Now, I have to say, I've been following your, how do I put this? When you do the raffles, your
Yeah.
fundraising,
yes.
okay? And the last two raffles were won by this guy, Michael, in Florida, I think, right?
I have never met a more
Right. So
lucky individual.
So I wanted to buy one. I just bought one ticket, but I just wanted to, that way my wife would have been, if I would have won, she would have been pissed because she doesn't want me having a weapon like that around the house. But anyhow, if I had won, I dang sure would have kept it though. It might have been in divorce court, but anyhow, what I'm getting at is when you said Michael, I was like, oh, Michael, me? And then you said it's that same guy in Florida again. So
Well, that
this
was
is him
two.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wow.
now it's not just two.
Yeah. So
Let me see if you guys can see that.
zoom in, Lee, to get a little bit maybe closer.
I don't know if
So-
you guys can see that or not, but wow, it's
Nah.
No,
it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
So
all
Michael
the glaring-
O'Loughlin, this is such an interesting story.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal. So last fall we raffled off a 300 ammo. We have all of our guns. I'm gonna give another plug here.
Please
Okay. Chase, I always screw up his last name. I think it's Mansfield from Rigid Defense in Phoenix, Queen Creek, Arizona. He's from up in Queen Creek. The name of the company, Rigid Defense. He custom builds all of the firearms that we raffle off.
Okay.
Laser engraving. We get with him. We go through. We send him mock-ups of what we want. We work with him, and we have our firearms made, and then he sends them FFL to FFL to a local FFL here in town that maintains control.
That's why I'm here.
There you go. Appreciate it. He maintains control of the firearm. He brings it to the raffle, and then once we identify who the individual is that wins it, we get their FFL, and the local FFL ships it to their FFL. Right.
Okay.
That way, it stays in. It stays out of our control.
Right. Right.
And it stays in control of the FFLs until it gets to him.
And it ensures that whoever gets that ticket, whoever's the winner is authorized to have weapons, because in order for them to get it, they have to go to the local FFL.
They'll have the
They'll do the old background check and everything.
Yeah.
So there's no way that any rifle that we deal with is going to end up in the hands of someone who's not authorized.
And that's also the reason why whenever you see our raffles, we draw three numbers. We do 3 numbers. We do the winner, the first alternate, and the second alternate, because we know there's always a possibility that someone's going to buy a raffle ticket, knowing that they will not be able to take possession of that rifle. So it goes to the FFL. The FFL does the 4473. If he does not, if he cannot take possession of that rifle, then it comes back to our local FFL here for us to resend it to the next.
You can't see it in that picture, but the guy had 3 AR-15s.
Yeah, you said 2. He won this third one.
So you gotta hear the story, right? So we did the first one last August. It was for a 300 Hammer, beautiful AR, and we called him up on the live broadcast, and we're like, Mike, just want to let you know that you. He goes, I can't talk. He's up in Tallahassee, close to Tallahassee. Okay. He goes, the hurricane's coming in.
He was huddled down with.
He was hunkered down. So we jumped off and let him take care of that, and we got the firearm to him. In March, somewhere around March or April, we had a black and blue AR that was for our law enforcement officers in honor of them.
Right.
All beautiful, decked out and laser engraved in there, with the blue stripe down and everything. And we did the raffle, and he wins that one. He buys 10 tickets every time. So for those of y'all out there, as we do our raffles, apparently the right way to do that is to buy 10 tickets, because he's done it 3 times and won three guns. So he wins this one. We call him up, and he goes, man, bro, listen, I would love to talk to you, but my son just had an accident. We're in the emergency room getting him stitched up.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
So
we jumped off. And then this last one, we're
this
sitting here.
This is a clean one, I think.
And Gary is sitting back behind the camera, and we did the raffle, and we had who was our guest? Was it John? No. We never stop and start the raffle. That's one thing. None of the foundation members within H3O start and stop the raffle.
Okay.
We always have someone that is non-associated with us start the tumble and stop the tumble. And the name of the list of ticket holders is on screen at all time. We try to be 100% as transparent as possible. So anyway, the guy stopped it, and I just happened to look at the number, and I looked up. I'm like, who the winner is? And the look on my face.
When Wayne looked at me, I saw that look, and I thought, there is no way that Michael O'Laughlin won a third one in a row.
Yeah.
Sure enough, the luck of the Irish, I guess.
So we called Mike live, and I'm going, Mike, I said, hey, I just want to call. First off, are you in an emergency situation? Is something going on? He goes, nope, I'm just sitting here on the couch watching TV. I'm like, thank goodness, because guess what? He goes like, no way. I say, yeah. First off, I want to say is you need to go buy you some lottery tickets right now.
Yes.
So, but he won, and we just sent that firearm to him. He just received it. The photo I showed you, because we asked all of our winners to send us a photo with them, because we want to make sure that when we post that, we want to make sure that the people that are participating in the raffles, see that
someone actually got it.
Someone got it.
Do you only raffle off AR-15s, or do you do any other kind, like handguns or anything?
Yeah, we're so right now we West End Pawn is John Bateman was our one of our most recent deer hunters that we took out. He's a double amputee.
Okay.
And we took him out on a mule deer hunt in 30B, and what a story that was. But he, he doesn't donate, but he does. We do purchase our firearms through him. Last year we had some people state that they would love for us to raffle off a deer hunting rifle. So we are raffling off, as we got to get our Army gun raffled off. We have a 248th birthday black and gold Army rifle that I'll show you a picture of real quick. I know, and these pictures, if you want to make them available to your people
they're on your website, right?
This one is not right now because I just
yet.
got the actual photo of it.
Oh,
isn't that beautiful?
yes.
So it has the Army logo. It has Happy 248th Birthday on it, and it's got the Army. It's got Be All You Can Be logo on it. The Army Strong logo on it.
Yep.
So
That's a nice one.
it's an absolutely beautiful firearm. Again, custom built by Chase over at Rigid Defense.
I don't know if that'll.
Yeah, it's the glare of the light that
it's
gets it.
Can't
So
do it. Okay.
So once we get that one raffled off, then we have an American Ruger or Ruger American 6.5
Ruger American 6.5.
Creedmoor.
American Predator.
American Predator. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to Vortex and we're going to see if we can get a Vortex scope for it, if we can. If not, then we usually do one of these rifles, 125 tickets, $10 a ticket.
Right.
Right. We only do 125 tickets. We do that for one reason. We want to make sure that our veterans have a high probability of winning. A single ticket with only 125 tickets is still really good odds.
Right.
Especially if you can afford 10 tickets, spend $100, get 10 tickets. You got like 8% of the tickets.
I would be afraid to buy 10 only for the simple fact that if I actually did win, like I said, I think my wife would get.
Now, nothing says you got to keep your firearm.
Heck
Honestly,
no, I would keep it.
Hey, I was gonna say I know. I wouldn't mind the second Ruger American Predator.
Yeah.
we have had people ask us exactly that question.
Yeah.
I'm just entering the raffle because I want to support you guys. I'm not really interested in the firearm. They're like, if I win it, can I donate it back to you? Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. We
Perfect.
cannot
We
maintain
do.
control of it.
So if they donate it back to you, then do you re-raffle it in the future?
That's
We
what
do.
we would do. Yeah,
Okay.
we've never done that, but absolutely
Okay.
Yeah, we just take it back and use that to get some more money in the funds.
So tell us, where's your website so that if people want to get more information, I know you said that it's currently under reconstruction.
It's still
Well,
available.
it's still available, and
but it's going to have the same web name, right?
Correct.
on it,
Heroeshealingheroes.com.
Yeah. We got two things. We got Facebook also,
Okay.
which you go and on Facebook you look up Heroes Healing Heroes Outdoors.
Okay.
All right, and it pops up. You see our logo. Become a member of us. That's the quickest way for you to stay on top of when the raffles are going to start. I always start the raffles at 6 p.m. or 1800 local. That way that everybody who wants to buy a ticket has had time. Even the local guys have time to get off of work and get home.
We had to adjust that a little bit because the first raffle we held, it was what,
Noon.
5.5 hours, and they were sold out.
Yeah.
Wow.
It started at noon. By the time people got off of work, we were sold out of tickets.
So
Wow, that's quick.
push that back.
Yeah. So we pushed it back to start at 6. We have 6 guns that we are still have to raffle off this year. The Army gun, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine, and then the deer rifle. The intent is to start the raffles on the service birthdays.
Okay.
So we, because of this issue with, we had some issues with dealing with non-Second Amendment friendly organizations that froze our accounts. That's the reason why we're going to this new Second Amendment friendly website, Second
Right.
Amendment friendly credit cards, because it terrifies us. For Michael, for you to spend $25 on a raffle ticket that is solely designated to go to help a veteran, and we lose, that money gets snatched from us because they froze our account and whatever. So we stopped everything, said, something we had not even thought about. Fortunately, everything so far we've been able to claim, through those credit card processing. Nothing got taken from us.
It got held up for a few days, though.
Yeah,
Close to $3,000.
Yeah, it was close to $3,000.
Was this an organization that was outside of Arizona that was doing this?
Well, there's companies like Stripe, PayPal, and all these. Those
Right.
are not Second Amendment friendly. And for example, PayPal will close your account and keep your money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that kind of freaked us out. So we decided to stop everything, go to a Second Amendment friendly website, a hosting platform, as well as a Second Amendment friendly.
Where they can pay, and then it's not worried about.
It's not going to get held up. And
Yeah. It cost us a little bit more because we got to pay a percentage for a processing fee, and those are called high risk merchant accounts, and it costs a little bit more, but it's the price of doing business. We have to. I'd much rather pay a little bit more to know that the month that I'm guaranteed to get those funds, so I can allocate, 5-6 veterans going out on a hunt. And again, most of our raffles only we clear enough to make 1 or 2 veterans to go hunt, and we're scheduled to do 7 raffles a year. We do 1 for our law enforcement, 1 for our firefighters, 1 for each of our prime military services, and then we do 1, hunting rifle style or whatever.
I think probably as we go on with this, we should expand that into doing camping equipment. Set somebody up with a tent and a stove, and we need to branch out a little bit, not do just the rifles. I think.
Well, I think maybe
we want to honor all the branches of service.
Right.
This first year doing this,
and we can end up doing fishing packages, and different things like that. Not replace a gun raffle with something like that. Maybe add that as a secondary raffle, or simultaneous raffle. To do, you can do the gun or you can do that.
Now, one thing I had asked you earlier before we started the broadcast, on the fishing trips, we've said that it's usually like 1 or 2 veterans that you take. But what if there was an interest in a veteran group of, let's say, like 10 veterans, and they wanted to get together and go on a fishing trip? Is that something that you guys could arrange? Is that doable?
We have a couple of veterans up in Phoenix that have pontoon boats.
Okay.
And they have told us that if we needed to, if we needed them, they would volunteer to take a group of veterans out on like Roosevelt,
okay,
for the weekend, and get out there and just ride around, fish, and have a great time. Now we are limited. We're small guys. We're small fish in this great pond, and we can't do groups of 20.
But you're doing big things. It sounds like
we're trying our best to do.
You are.
We want to have an impact here in Cochise County, and with all our local veterans, our law enforcement, first responders, because they're included. We keep saying veterans, but we are about law enforcement. We're about first responders. EMTs.
Right.
Yeah.
We will help any. If they've. Our feeling is if they support and put their life on the line for community or nation, we want to be there to help. If they need help, we want to be there. We want to be that organization.
We've had limited success in that, only because law enforcement takes care of law enforcement very well.
Right.
Firefighters takes care of firefighters very well.
And veterans take care of veterans.
Yep.
So,
but we're here for everybody.
We're here for
We're here for everybody. I know.
We have taken law enforcement officers with us to Texas on a hog hunt.
Yeah.
And we don't discriminate. Hey, you're law enforcement. You're going to go over here. No. They're brothers to us.
Yeah.
We include them.
What about deep sea fishing or anything like, not deep sea fishing maybe, but fresh fish? Freshwater fish?
Brackish water.
Yeah.
The brackish water.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Is that something have you guys ever done anything like that?
So we have our sister organization, Valhalla Outdoors. They host every year an iguana hunt in Florida.
Really?
Yes, you take pellet guns, you ride up and down the canals, and you shoot iguanas. Now, before anybody gets all
invasive
offended,
species.
It's an invasive species, and they
They're
don't go to
everywhere.
waste because the native population eats the tar out of iguana. They love iguana.
Uh-huh.
So we just, they donate them to the locals, right? It's a win-win situation. We reduce the population of the iguanas, in southern Florida, and people get to eat them.
Wow.
And our veterans get to float around on the boat,
But we haven't ourselves. We haven't done that.
Right.
But again, for us here in Arizona, being as landlocked as we are, I think, Roosevelt Lake, some of the bigger lakes up north. If we had a group of people, we have a couple of people in our club that innate heroes healing heroes that do a lot of fishing, especially up on Roosevelt and like that. So I'm sure we could put that together.
Yeah.
Personally, I like Parker Lake. I like going up there. It's a nice small little lake. You can get out there, catch yourself some bass or some trout or.
Well, one of the things that we're doing later on this year is we're putting on a dove hunt over by Las Ciennegas Empire Ranch over there.
Okay.
But we were going to do one this spring, but it was going to be a fishing camp. The problem is we got started too late on it, but we want to kind of do that in the late winter, early spring, because they stock Parker Lake with trout all winter long. And so I would look maybe for this next year where we would be able to put out to the general public, hey, we're going to do a fishing camp about here. We're limited to this many people, or we'll have to kind of get started on it, But that was one that we wanted to do and we couldn't. So we went ahead and got the dove hunt. That looks like it's going to be a go.
Now, one of the California boys, we mentioned California boys, right? They're all Navy retired veterans that live up and down the California coast. We got a couple of them that live down in San Diego, and I was trying to remember Don's last name. Do you remember Don's last name?
I don't.
So we have one of our California, we'll call them the California boys. They're all retired Navy veterans, and one of the guys, his name is Don. Avid deep sea fisherman. Goes, and he has stated that if we wanted to bring some veterans and go out there and do some, go out there several miles and catch some fish out there in salt water, do some saltwater fishing, he goes, y'all bring them. He goes, I'll get them out there. So you'd ask about doing that?
Right.
We have the opportunity. It does require someone who's interested. Maybe Bill, Mike, whoever, y'all want to go out there, go to our website, heroeshealingheroes.com, hit that client button, fill out and tell us, you tell us what you want.
Yeah, there's a list of things on there that are hunting and fishing, and you mark the things you're interested in, but that's the list we work from.
See, I know this is going to sound silly, but when I used to go up to Parker Lake, I had this lightweight rod, and I had like a 4-pound test line on it, and I would fly fish with it, and I would catch bluegill, right? But when the bluegill would hit, because everything was so light, it's like you got this really huge fish on there, and you're fighting that sucker to get in there. So that's why I was asking about I don't know if it's deep sea fishing, but what is it again?
Saltwater fishing.
Saltwater fishing, because if that hit and reeling in something that small is so exciting, I can't imagine how exciting it must be to catch something that's like, 125, 150 pound, like a tuna or something like that.
A 10-pound saltwater fish will wear you out.
Yeah?
Yeah. It is a completely different fight from a freshwater fight. Because they're swimming in currents their whole entire lives. They are a lot stronger fish than saltwater or freshwater fishing. But it's something that we are capable of putting together.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yep.
So in closing here, do you gentlemen have any last words or anything that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, we, like I said, we are 501c3. We work on donations, so I'm going to hit that point again. And we're local. We try to target the local disabled veteran or law enforcement, first responder audience, and that's our sole purpose. That's why we exist. So, and if you're interested in being a volunteer, can go on our website, and the volunteer form is being updated. But that's how you can get in touch with us. Or if you see one of our pickup trucks running around town, we have big signs on our individual private trucks, and my phone number is on there. It's 520-227-4350, and that's Gary Linendahl. And again, our website is healingheroes.com. So those are ways you can get in touch with us, or contact people here at Warrior Healing Center. They also, know about us.
Okay.
That's right. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that we do this out of the generous of our heart. Gary and I, we've been doing this since 2016, and most of the rest of our crew, Chris Sterner, Randy Oliver, Bob Ford,
Scott,
Craig,
Kathy.
Yep.
Sherry.
When we go out, we do this all out of our pockets. We donate the use of our own personal RVs for our veterans to be able to stay in an RV. We use our own equipment to take these out there, and we do it for twofold. Like, one thing, we love our veterans. I love my comrades. Our motto is healing through camaraderie.
Okay.
Right. We have another motto. It's called we start where medicine ends.
I like that one too.
And we do that because, one, we love our fellow veterans, and we love to hunt. We love to fish. We love to get out. Yeah. If you guys want to go rock hounding, I even joined the Huachuca Mountain Prospectors Association. I joined them for the sole purpose of understanding how to do the prospecting. So there's a possibility that if someone wanted to get out there and learn how to do that, if that's an activity that a veteran wants to learn, I can either put them in contact with my prospecting, buddies, or we can go do it ourselves. We're always trying to open ourselves up. And on top of that, the Warrior Healing Center here is full of activities for veterans. You want to learn how to garden? You want to learn how to play flute?
Yeah, if you're a veteran and you have not come down and taken advantage of what goes on with this Warrior Healing Center, you need to do that.
That's why I try to encourage our viewers that are maybe sitting at home and always watching, and I wish I could do that, but I can't do it because of this disability, or can't do that. Well, I'm telling you, if you want to go hunting or you want to go fishing, these gentlemen right here, they'll make it happen for you. All you got to do is give them a call. It doesn't cost you anything other than your time, and I guarantee you, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah. We'll even come pick you up.
Wow. In a limo too?
Probably. Well, it'll be our hunting limos.
Hunting limo, okay.
4-wheel drive type. Yeah. But hey, Mike, we appreciate you having us on.
Oh no, I'm
today.
glad that you guys came out, and I would also like to extend an invite to you to come back in like 6 months. Mm-hmm. Because I would like to do an update, and I would like you to, maybe we could have some pictures and arrange that.
Yeah.
And we could show some of your more recent assists in helping veterans and hunting and fishing and stuff. So if you guys would be willing, I would love to be able to do that for you as well.
Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't arrange that.
That'd be after the new year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good because we have that allows us to get through our big game seasons, our elk season.
Our busy season is getting ready to kick off.
Yeah,
just take plenty of pictures, and when you bring them in and we sit down and do an update, we can tell more stories and actually show some pictures that won't be glary. Because we could put it up on the monitor.
Oh,
that'd be
here,
great.
So
also, if you just want to see some of those pictures, they're up on our website.
They are on your website as well.
You go to our website and you go over to past hunts. Isn't that what it's called?
Something like that.
Something like that.
You'll find it. It's
but we do post every year, or we post what we are, our past hunts and stuff. We're almost done.
Well, again, I thank you both so much for coming in and joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll give you a fist bump since you had shoulder surgery there.
Yeah, I had that done yesterday, so I'm still a little
I know,
tender.
and check you out. You had it yesterday, and here you are sitting here, hardcore.
We are as committed to veterans as we can. We don't let anything, we don't let medical conditions stop us. If I can physically get out there, I'm going to go.
Well, I got a few announcements I need to read here real quick. So if you guys want to, if you need to go because someone's waiting for you, you can go ahead and go, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just
Once
did
again,
my
thanks
wife.
so
My
much.
wife's here to pick me up.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
All
a
right,
school
Gary.
child.
All right.
Thanks again for
Hey.
coming in.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you guys.
Thank y'all for listening to us. If you know anybody that wants to go on a hunt, it doesn't have to be you. If you know anybody,
Yeah, give them our name. That's
Oh,
right.
and then Kathy Ann Rivera
Come on
said, real quick, just said, thank you for the information, very interesting.
Oh,
awesome.
wonderful. Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you.
And like I said, we do watch the website for comments and stuff, so
Yeah.
I'll make sure that you guys can get it as well. I'll make sure to share it with you as well.
Yeah,
Okay?
outstanding.
Thank you
Outstanding.
both very
Thanks so
much. Have a great day.
You too.
So a few events that are coming up here in Cochise County, here at the Warrior Healing Center. Monday, July 17th, we have the Marine Corps League Breakfast at the Landmark Cafe, and that starts at 0900, goes to 1100 hours. Also on Monday, July 17th, we have the Breast Cancer Survivor Group that starts at 11:30, goes to 12:30 here at the Warrior Healing Center main conference room. The Legal and Finance Seminar, Estate and Contingency Planning 101, will also be Monday, 17 July, starting at 1800 hours, going to 2000 hours. That will be here at the Warrior Healing Center as well. I highly recommend that you attend that if you haven't already. It's a great seminar, and a lot of very valuable information is put out in that meeting, that class. Tuesday, July 18th, starting at 0900 and going to 1400 hours is the monthly blood drive. It's at the for the American Red Cross. It's going to be taking place at the American Legion Post 52 here in Sierra Vista, Arizona. On Wednesday, July 19th, starting at 0730, is the VeloVets Sierra Vista Group Ride that starts at the Pueblo del Sol Country Club parking lot. And also on Wednesday, July 19th, starting at 1800, going to 1930, we have the Heart to Heart Ladies PTSD Support Group, which takes place right here at the Warrior Healing Center main conference room. On Thursday, July 20th, starting at 0900, going to 1100 hours, Bagels and Brew. I highly encourage you to come to this event. It's Bagels and Brew is very successful here at the Warrior Healing Center. We get a lot of people come in. You'll get to meet some great veterans, have some camaraderie, and have some really good food and coffee. That takes place at the Warrior Healing Center main conference room and the recreation room. Again, Thursday, July 20th, 0900 to 1100 hours, Bagels and Brew. On Thursday, July 20th, starting at 1700 and going to 1830, it's the Flutes for Vets Circle that will also be taking place here at the Warrior Healing Center. And don't forget, Gunny's Barbecue, they're having their food truck event today. They do it every Friday, starting at 11 a.m. and going to 7 p.m. And that's at the Event Center, Gunny's Barbecue and Event Center at 5043 South Highway 92 in Sierra Vista. So that's it for today's show. Again, I want to thank Gary and Wayne for coming in and sitting down and telling us about healing heroes outdoors. I got it right this time. Yay. I even wore my camo hat for the hunting, and I got camo shorts on as well. So just my little way of showing some support. Thank you again. I'll see you all next Friday. Have a great day and a great weekend. God bless. Bye-bye.